Unlaced podcast. It's actually not bad. It's really good, bro. Well done.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Unlaced podcast. Appreciate everyone that's been tuning in, all the subscribers, all the people liking. I can't thank you enough. As we always say, I just want to acknowledge everyone out there. You guys are the best. I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty fucking excited today because I've been watching this man's journey for a while, like probably most people in Isaac Ice John, documenting his YKTR and YKTR sports journey. Ice, man, how you doing, bro?
Good, brother. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's a pleasure, man. I'm big on content creation. Like, I absolutely love it. I watch YouTube all the time, so I'm pretty inspired by your journey and what you're doing. But the element of why I'm also interested in you is because you've come from a sporting background, and it kind of fascinates me as well. So I did want to just dive into that before we get into some of the stuff you're doing now. But you grew up in New Zealand, right?
Yeah, grew up in a small town called Tukaro, roughly about 10 to 12,000 people, sort of notable sports people at the moment. We Quade Cooper, he was sort of my best mate growing up. Joseph Manu, who's probably arguably one of the best centers in the comp right now, unless Tommy Turbo's playing there, or Latrell, and Zane Tedavano as well. And we've had a few All Blacks, so that was sort of the town I grew up in. Very, very tiny and a close-knit community, considered to be rough, but we all love sports, so it was pretty good.
Amazing, man. And then I guess growing up in New Zealand, there's naturally also an affinity and love with rugby league and rugby union. So I assume that was a natural relationship that stemmed with that.
Yeah. My dad was always sort of my football coach as well. So from like under sixes to like 16s, like I always played with my best mates. And in our hometown, we actually had one union side and two league sides. So in the smaller country towns, league's a little bit more dominant. So played a lot of league. I didn't play too much rugby growing up. A lot of people thought I would have, but my dad used to hate rugby, so I could only play that.
Fair enough. So if we go into your NRL career, because like you look at the clubs you played for, I mean, it must have been a dream for any Kiwi to play for the Warriors. Like, even for me, I live in Melbourne. I'm a Melbourne Storm fan, but I always admire the Warriors because they're just always an elite team. For an Aussie to play there, it's still quite a momentous thing too. So playing for the Warriors, that must have been pretty special to make your debut in the professional league of the country.
It was cool because, like, when I grew up, we were like 01, 02 Warriors. I would have been about 10, 11, 12. And that's when they're making grand finals and they kind of reinvented football with the offloading styles, guys of like Ali Lawatiti and Stacey Jones and guys like that. So they were never my favorite team, but I always supported them as well. I used to support Newcastle Knights because of Joey Johns. But
right.
Obviously, when you grow up in New Zealand and you're in high school and you're getting signed to the Warriors is a pretty cool vibe. And rolled into 20s and we had a pretty stacked side there as well. So it's one of those ones where you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna be here forever.
Yeah. Well, so this is what's interesting to me though, because the way I think your career you played across the NRL was roughly 6 years, which is actually probably longer than average for most players, right? But throughout that whole period, did you always have an idea that you wanted to do more than just league? Like, did you always have an active interest in business and other things?
My parents are two very different people, where my dad was always my football coach and he was like, sports, make sure you work hard and make sure you're training when no one else is training. Where my mum was very educational. She's like, if you don't do well in school, you can't play football. And obviously I done well in school, but I was just lazy. Like, I just had no interest in it. So I was smart enough to get my grades just past. Like, I was in all the smart classes, but I was just doing enough just to get past, just so I could play football. So that was sort of my mentality. So as I got a little bit older, I started to get injured a lot, and had a guy push me towards reading books. And when I started reading books, I was reading about autobiographies because I was in sports. And then obviously you start to get a little bit bored and you want to be challenged, and then sort of moved into self-development and then business. Yeah. And I found myself reading books and reading about entrepreneurship and getting more excited about that than I was about sports. So that was kind of like my cue for me to leave.
Yeah, I mean, like you are, in my eyes, a serial entrepreneur in the sense of like what you guys are brewing and building. I always liken it to Barstool Sports, and I know you're a big Dave Portnoy fan like me. But like, when did the YKTR journey really begin, and did it overlap with footy, or was that sort of when you had come out by then?
Overlap with football. I was kind of like, I didn't really have guaranteed contracts for a while. I was coming into my last year of my Penrith contract, and I just found myself always like thinking about other things, and it was never about football. I was more worried about going out and traveling and like reading and making content. And I was into making like vlogs like 4 or 5 years ago, and I didn't know they were even called vlogs. I used to just like filming shit and taking photos, and like people see Kalen Ponga and stuff like that, and they're considered cool because they take photos. But when I was taking photos when I was a footballer, I was like lame.
Yeah.
It's kind of gone like full circle and that sort of thing. But yeah, it did overlap because the two guys I lived with, we just started saying YKTR as a bit of a joke, and we got it printed on a t-shirt. So we were kind of party boys at the time. We just wanted to go out and rock our own shit.
Yeah.
We were rocking, but yeah, I don't know. Just had a couple people going, "Oh, can we buy that?" And then kind of just grew from there.
So for those that don't know, YKTR, you know the rules is what it stands for. The clothing you guys make, and I assume a lot of that's coming from you, or you've got some creative freedom from other people and support as well. But like that must, where you see that now in comparison to where it started, must be pretty fulfilling and pretty exciting. Like you're doing drops of clothing that's literally being bought out and sold out in minutes now, which is just insane.
Yeah, it's scary. It's like when I see this type of stuff that's happening, it's stuff I sort of associate with American brands. Like obviously I wouldn't put myself in the same category as Supreme, but people are buying stuff just to flip it. So
Yeah.
Start of this year where we're dropping hoodies for, we sell them for like 110, 120, and people will put them online for 350, $400 like Australian, and selling them as well. They're not just like throwing them out there and go, this is the magical number. They were selling that. So we actually got a bit of a backlash because they're like, oh, like all your day ones have been here and we can't even get it because all these scalpers. And I'm just like, oh, there's nothing I could do. If I was creating a market like sell page underneath YKTR, that means I'd be promoting it.
Yeah.
I'm actually not. So yeah, it's been crazy. And like when I come into this clothing game or fashion, whatever you want to call it, I used to think like, oh, if we ever got in general pants, like that'll be it. Like,
Yeah.
As you start to understand sort of the industry and you realize that general pants actually own all the brands within, you've got this plethora of options, but you're just buying from the same people, but they're whacking different tags on it. Same with Culture Kings as well. But if you really pay attention and you understand fabric and looks and stuff, like you'll see it starts to all look the same. And then it's because it's all made in the same factory. They just whack different labels on it. So once I learned that, I was like, I don't think I really want to be in those types of stores anymore. So
yeah,
we just sort of built our own thing and sort of rolled from there.
Man, it's pretty cool. There's actually a guy in my soccer team now who's got the hoodie that you had, and I'm like, dude, how did you get it? He's like, oh, my missus was online just waiting for it to drop. So that's kind of like what it's like, and people are flipping them. They're trying to make profits off it because it's that wanted, the gear. Yeah, YKTR Sports to me is something I watch a lot of content. As I said before, 10 in the can. I love Horo. Jordan Simi is probably one of the funniest guys going around. I mean, whatever he touches just seems to be going to gold. But I'm just interested of why you opened that door up for YKTR, and excited, I guess, really to see where you see that going as well.
Yeah, so it kind of started off the back of Australian sports media, and especially in rugby league. I didn't really enjoy much of the content. You look at Fox Sports, a lot of the guys no one's under 36, 7, 8, up to 55. And a lot of their shows are just complaining about the sport in general. And a lot of those guys that come from newspaper transitioned over to TV. And once you understand the business model of media, the more negative it is, the more open rates you get, the more advertising you can charge. And a lot of the content doesn't actually have to be true. So that was sort of my first pain point. But the other one was sort of drawing inspiration from American media, where like basketball is my second favorite sport. I don't sit there go from first quarter to fourth quarter. And I think that's starting to happen with rugby league, where I'm more interested about like what's LeBron wearing, what's his family up to, what does James Harden eat after a game, like that. That's the type of content I've always been interested in. I just didn't feel like anyone was making that, and I didn't feel like the Fox Sports model was going to cater towards that, because it's tailored towards an older generation, a TV generation, where we're more internet kids. We want something short, sharp. We're more highlights. Like House of Highlights is one of the biggest pages. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So we're never gonna overtake Fox Sports in the news space or gossip columns or anything like that. And they can control the game, but there's this magic space between Monday and Friday. Like, what's the boys up to?
Yeah, I think that comment you mentioned is really interesting, because I do feel like similar to what Bloke in the Bar's doing, yourself's doing. There's other sort of content creators out there. It's almost like new age media when documenting sport. Like it's more interesting for the younger generation, I feel, and connecting with players and also personalities like yourself, like people like Horo, where it's just a little bit more. I don't know how to say it. It's not censored. It's fun. It's interesting, but there's like genuine intelligence to what you guys are delivering around the NRL. Is that a little bit of the concept you're talking about when you speak about some of the stuff you're pushing out, particularly on rugby league?
Yeah, it's like strategy. Like obviously, I mean, you love Dave Portnoy, and like he talks about sports, but it's so like if you think of traditional media, you have to go through like there's a pathway before you can actually even get on TV. With the internet. We can just go direct to consumer as well. So I've always loved the balance of entertainment and education, and like as fun as like when you sit in school. There's a teacher there. You remember your fun teacher, the one that could teach you as well. You look at a lot of TV right now, it's kind of just like, and obviously they have to answer to a board of directors and all those sorts of guys. With YKTR Sports, it's just me and Bloke in the Bar. It's just Denon, you know what I mean? Through all these different processes to get the show started, it's basically the boys rock up and go, I've got an idea, and if it's good, I'll go with it. If it's bad, I'll say no. But then we just roll from there. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And the thing with us is like a lot of our boys have been in trouble in the past as well. So we've never really shied away from that. We just kind of keep rolling with it. So it's just part of our DNA. It's part of our history.
Yeah, I feel like it works in your favor a little bit as well because you guys are just real and more. The authenticity is what connects with people in some regards because no one's perfect. But your NRL journey, and I just like to go back to the athlete of Isaac John, like the skill sets and applications that you got out of being an NRL athlete and also prior to that, obviously wanting to be an NRL player. Do you think that's helped you transition into business, some of the fundamentals that sport's given back to you?
Yeah, of course. And a lot of them is like not things you'd actually even think about. It's more so the fact that like, man, if you're doing all the right things off the field, like you get results. So in sports, you're measured by score lines and wins and losses. In business, you're measured by money. So, man, when I find myself like, when I'm training and when I'm like eating right and doing all the right things off, like just to say off the field or out the office, like my business seems to go with it. And I'm fortunate enough where I've got multiple streams of revenue. And when I'm consistent with those types of things, it's weird, bro. So like I'll be going for a run and like cha-ching, like money would come through for personal things. It's this weird little vibe, man. And just having that balance inside and outside is really important. But a lot of other things like culture, like I'm starting to build a team now. So you sort of realize, like Simi's a great example where in terms of content, he's probably the most talented, but then he's got like off-field issues. Like, I never had all the time. So.
Yeah. You have it.
I have a meeting with him every week, man. Like, bro, like, come on, bro.
That's what I was about to say. You're having constant board meetings about the best player. Like, is it worth the hassle? But I mean, it definitely is. Like, and this is the other aspect, right? Yeah. You've got the YKTR sports banner, but like, then if we just focus on Simi for a second, like he's Jordan's Room. I mean, it's almost like a bit of a love podcast. Like, it's so much banter in it. So I take it there's sort of no really limit to what you want to produce and what you associate with YKTR in a way, like the food blogs, for example, as well.
Yeah. If you look at like things that people care about, like sports is only one of them, like food, people care about music, people care about culture. So we're trying to cover all these different aspects across a lot of different things. And Jordan's Room was kind of built off the back of Call of Daddy. That's pretty much one of the biggest ones, but it's a little bit harder because I think girls will talk to girls a lot more about sex and relationships where you got a guy kind of like prying. It's kind of a weird scenario, but it kind of works. So yeah, he's going to cover that aspect as well. But yeah, it's something that we actually did want to talk about. Like he put up a blog not too long ago, like 5 ways to masturbate. And
yeah, dude. Sex positions on a Sunday morning and stuff. Like it's crazy, man. It's awesome. But no, do you like? I think you're quite not necessarily unique, but in some regards, like I think I wouldn't say lucky, but it's just awesome how you've naturally transitioned into a passion. Because like I feel a lot of athletes when they come out, like I experienced it, and there's multiple athletes I'm sure you know as well that have kind of been challenged with like, oh, I've been so defined as that footy player now. Who am I going to be? Who's Isaac John going to be? You've had like a pretty flawless transition, and I just wonder if that was planned, if that's just happened, if you've learnt this passion as you've gone on.
I just never attached my whole identity to a football player. Like I was never like, this is me. And like, even when I used to go out and I was single and girls used to be like, oh, what do you do? Like I'd never say that I was a football player. One, there was a negative stereotype off the back of it as well. But like I just didn't want to be associated as purely as a football player because I had a negative stereotype in and around it. And I always saw myself as someone that had multiple interests. And like I said, I was into photography and making videos and reading books. So I'd always try and steer the conversation that way. So, and in saying that, bro, I was never like a superstar. I was a fucking average player in NRL. So from like average player to normal life, it's not too much different.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm playing the A-League, and I was a bang average player there. I'm practically a normal person, but hey, to be fair to you, you do have a cap for the Kiwis. I mean, that's like a cap for Brazil in the soccer world. That's you can't discredit that. But like, because when people look at you from the outside, I mean, like I'm gonna get into a little bit about you and your lifestyle because it's pretty insane. But people look at you from the outside and they're like, man, that guy's motivated. Like he's going after what he wants. But your kind of rebuttal to that is like, man, I'm just doing what I love.
Yeah.
I mean, that's big difference, right? Can you kind of explain that to me a little bit? Because on the spectrum, it's a little bit hard to understand because people usually think, oh, I love something, so I'm motivated. Therefore, you don't feel like you're working when you do this.
Yeah, so like I see motivation as two different things. One, someone who's super disciplined. You look at someone like Sonny Bill Williams, and like he'll wake up and he'll be tired, but he'll go out and do his boxing training, or he'll go out and do his league training, and he's just not lazy. He's disciplined. And anyone from the outside looking in, he's saying, nah, he's motivated. He's motivated. Nah, he's not.
Yeah,
he's
bro.
disciplined. The difference. Where the other side of it is like, I'm just having fun. Like this, like starting businesses is fun to me. I want to start 2 new businesses pretty soon, and this is fun to me. So from the outside looking in, I look motivated. So like if you think of us as kids and we wouldn't get off a PlayStation, man, if your parents didn't say like, hurry up and get off there and go, he's so motivated to play PlayStation. He's so motivated. We put motivation on different aspects of life. And for me, this is just fun. So I look motivated, but I'm not. I'm just having fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome, bro. I'm interested, like, because I'm creating content as well. Like, I got to learn how to edit, man, because that I think is critical. But for you, what is critical when you think about content creation and success?
Three types of content like that people pay attention to. One, good looking people. If you're good looking, you're going to get social credit. You're going to get followers. You're going to get likes.
That rules me out.
Yeah, me too, man. That's us. And then the other part of it is either entertainment or education. Where do you fall under that? So can you educate someone? If you can educate someone in something, they're going to pay attention to it, whether it's sports, whether it's self-development. You look at guys like Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee's my guy. They're always going to be relevant because they're teaching you skills that you want to have. And then there's entertainment. Entertainment comes under multiple different things. If you can make someone laugh, you can make them do anything. If you like music, if you can tell stories, but the key is to get the combination of a bit of the both. You know what I mean? You want to be educational, but have entertainment aspect behind it. And is that done through tone? Is that done through analogies? Is that done through storytelling? Man, that's just something you're going to have to figure out. And then if you got the good looking part as well, and you can do all three, you're going to make some money.
Yeah, my man. I love that. Yeah, one thing is creating content, but then the other part is getting it out there. And like you guys are creating consistent content every day, like vlogs, podcasts. Is there like much thinking and brainstorming behind the marketing aspect to get that reach? Because I assume that's developed over time.
Yeah, a lot of it's touch points as well. And a lot of it's, like you said, like I've been making content for like 4 years now and pretty consistently. And like you start to get an eye for it. You start to see things that you know will work, know what wouldn't work as well. But yeah, a lot of it's just touch points because there's not like we're not always trying to sell you shit. It's all about touch points and trying to get people interested in us. And then when it does come time to sell, we're able to sell. So that's kind of the strategy behind it.
Yeah. Okay. And podcasting, like when I think of YKTR, like podcasting is a huge part of what you guys do now. Why do you put, I mean, I'm obviously a huge podcast fan given I have my own, but why do you put so much emphasis on podcasts? And I guess where do you see that market going?
Great thing about podcasts, bro, you can listen to them anywhere. You can't watch a movie like while driving a car. Bro, podcasting reminds me of vapes. You know, everyone's into vaping now.
Yeah, I say Simmy smokes them all the time.
Yeah. So like the boys smoke vapes in my office, but like I'm like, oh, I don't care because it smells nice. And what vaping has done is opened up the whole world on places where you can smoke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what podcasting is. Podcast is just opened up to the whole world. Like you can work and listen to a podcast, go for a run, listen to a podcast, advantage over everything else. So even like people don't realize that they got a podcast app built into their iPhone straight away. Yeah, like stuff like that. So we're still very early here in Australia, but the thing is you want to be kind of the main guys when Spotify start rolling.
100%, dude.
Flicking out offers, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, you mentioned before the recent offer for Joe Rogan and then Call Her Daddy is just like it's just a taste of what's to come, and like it hasn't even really hit Australia.
If you look at the Barstool Media, so what they've done, so Penn National brought them out for 500 million last year, but that's such a smart buy from Penn National because, like, if you look at YKTR as a whole, like collectively as a whole, how much content we actually put out, there might be a betting agency that goes, oh, do you know what? We want to plug our ads into those guys for free. Like that's the way you sort of exit these types of business models, and we're not traditional media as well. We're not reliant on ad revenue from sponsors and stuff because we've got commerce attached to the bottom. So if you look at Barstool Sports, a third of their money actually comes from merch. We're actually building a new merch structure at the moment where, if we do a pre-sale, it takes about 4 weeks for someone to get their clothes. We're going to chop that down into half pretty soon. So that's going to be a big game changer for us as well. We'll bring in an ad revenue, and then the other side of it is events. So like say 10 and a Ken starts to go, oh, we're going to do a live event down at the pub, and it costs like $20 for a ticket. Come down, and then there's merch, and you get clipped the back off the sales, and there's tickets. Like that's the evolution of where we're sort of going down. And I've been fully transparent of all this sort of stuff, and it's probably something you guys could do too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I take actually a bit of inspiration out of Inside YKTR because I find like I watch that a lot because I'm quite interested in business, and I think you are quite transparent because you obviously are doing something really well, but you're quite open around when you do stuff wrong yourself, and like you know, and I think that's really awesome, and that vulnerability. That like mentorship for you, because I know you promote yourself as like some sort of mentor for certain people with like you've got your consultancy agency and things like that. Do you utilize mentors yourself for you to help you?
Yeah, I've got a couple, bro, to be honest.
Yeah, because I imagine like each day for you as you expand a team, as you open up new branches and angles for YKTR, the banner, like you're learning on the fly as well, like of just, you know, different problems, different fires. How do you work through that and obviously keep your head whilst managing a team and keeping that cool culture you have?
You got to realize that like no problems are actually unique. Like, you know, personally, when you're going through something, you're like, fuck, I'm the only person that's ever gone through this. And it's probably not the case. And what I found in business and life is someone else has probably already gone through it, and they've probably done a podcast on it or written a book on it. But there's probably about four people that I really rely on for advice. Like if I make a big decision, I sort of go through those sort of avenues first. And a lot of times you know the answer for yourself. But I find things with mentors, and Mark Boris said to me, he's not one of my mentors, but I feel like I could have access to him if I needed to. He goes, mentors don't give you answers. They just ask you different types of questions. A lot of people see mentorship as like, what should I do? What should I do? But like they go, oh, why don't you do it this way? Or no, like, here's an example. So this podcast studio here, it's fucking sick. We've got 3 different setups. I was about to rent a whole new office next door, and it would have cost $45,000, and it would have cost me like $25,000 to reno. And like I had my mindset on it. And once I usually get my mindset on something, I just go, fuck it, like out the way, I want to go get this. And then one of my mentors goes, is there like another option that you could think of that could potentially save you money? And as soon as he said that,
yeah.
So just stuff like that, bro. Stuff like that. You find comfort in people that have been through it, and like I don't know. I like to hang around people that are smarter than me, but like also calm, because I'm uppity. I'm unbowed. I've got energy. Like I don't need another dude that's like me, because then we're just gonna go off and do stupid shit.
Yeah. I don't know why. It seems to me like a lot of successful people really do have that cool, calming nature as well. Like it's like I can't explain it, but yeah. You know what? You know, it actually fascinates me about you because I follow you on Instagram, and like you do document pretty much everything you do in the day. Like I feel like I know you. It's kind of weird in a way, but you wake up early as fuck. Like you have half a day done, accomplished before some people are eating breakfast. Why do you wake up when you do? And for reference, for those that don't want to talk about, like I'm talking before 4 a.m. Consistently every day, all year this year.
I kind of slept in today too, so it was kind of weird you asked.
Really? I caught you out.
Yeah, like 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh shit.
That's still early, man.
Yeah. No. It's like I don't set my alarm or anything. It's just when my body wakes up. It's not like I'm not trying to be mad or like I'm not just going beep 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 and turn it off and like force myself up. I'm excited to get up at 3:30, and man, I really enjoy that time to myself. Like one of my favorite sayings that I've sort of been on for is like go to bed with a clear mind and wake up with an excited soul. And I feel like if you're doing the right things every single day, like I go to bed and I used to sit in bed and go
Yeah.
Like I'm going to bed about 8 o'clock now, and I just fall asleep because like I feel like I've worked hard through the day. I'm not fucking anyone over. I'm trying to take people with me. I feel like I'm a good person. You know what I mean? So I go to sleep, and then I don't know, 7 hours after 8 o'clock is like 3:30, 4. So I go for like a run or a walk, and that's just times where like I'm not trying to time myself. I'm just trying to ask myself questions and try and solve one, and I'm happy.
Okay, because like this was going to lead into my next question. It might be different because it's more natural for you, this process. But I was interested to understand if you really feel like that impacts your day-to-day operation for the positive. Obviously, being up early, those sort of chemicals and things like that. Because you get so much accomplished in a day at YKTR. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and like I've never been in the position I am right now. So like when you're scaling out staff, like I'm not used to having like 4 or 5 meetings a day. I'm used to it just being me on my own. And I found when you start to people manage as well, or manage people and help them get through their day as well, like it takes away from yours. So like when I normally get to work at about 5:30, it gives me about an hour and a half before Jackson rolls through about 7:30. We go for a coffee, make a plan, and then after that, it's like all on again. So it gives me time to do the things that I need to do, and then sort of structure out our day for everyone, or structure out our week for everyone.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a bit of a tough question now because it might be quite an easy answer for you, but I assume because there's been so much change, it'll be interesting to see what you say. But if you look back on the last 12 months of YKTR, what would you say has been the biggest accomplishment or the best thing you've done for the business that's really transcended the journey?
Hiring staff. Yeah, I don't know. You just get so much more shit done. Like, and like there's a I forgot what book it's called. It's called like People Like I've never held a job interview. I've been lucky that the people that are coming to work for us are kind of been fans first, and then figured out like what I've been into and kind of reverse engineer me. Jackson used to write for us for about a year and a half. Scope just grinded his ass off. Caleb was like an intern. So, and like as you start to scale out, you just want the like there's a book saying like you want everyone on the bus. So before you even start the bus, you got to get the wrong people off the bus, the right people in the bus, in the right seats. So we've never really had anyone bad in here so far. I'm not saying that's not going to change or circumstances can't change, but man, we've got the right people on the bus and we've got them in the right seats. And like, I'm ready to hit that gas and take off. So man, it's been really important. And it's kind of scary hiring staff because you're like, oh, one, can I afford it? Culture, stuff like that. Well, whenever I found that I've started to hire, we seem to make more money, or we move into a nice office, we seem to make more money. I call it life momentum, and it's a part of like, you want to build a massive business, you need staff. So
Yeah. Really important. Do you get much contact? Do many young NRL players or NRL players in general reach out to you to connect and maybe get some advice for business or just life in general outside of sport?
surprisingly not. And like
It's ridiculous.
and this is what I said about like we had an inside YKTR, and I said like the difference between All Blacks boys and NRL boys is so far. Like we'll get All Black boys flying over to Sydney to come have a meeting with me, like spend money, like even though they got money, but just take time out of their weekend, find a babysitter, bring their wife over, come sit down and have a 3-4 hour meeting with me. Is like, and it happens a lot more. Like I'm probably a little bit tired of some of the All Blacks boys, and I didn't even know them. 10 years that are trying to start clothing businesses. They go, like, won't even message me because I don't know if they see me as competition or like I've never really perceived myself as that, or like I try and help everyone. But they also got to realize they've got leverage right now. If they retire in 2-3 years, I'm probably not as inclined to help them out for free.
Yeah, of course.
And Gary V talks about it all the time. He goes, well, while you're a Jets player, I will help you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes, once you leave, like I'm not answering your call. So, and like I don't think I'm as ruthless as that, but man, if there's a sports player out there right now, and if I'm perceived to be the guy that can merge the entrepreneurship and business with the athlete, which Americans do really, really well, and I definitely help out. But maybe guys like Kalen and Connor Watson, like they're probably the two guys that like sort of reach out and ask questions and text. If they come down there for a day or two, I could restructure their whole business, and I could like, you know what I mean? It'd be like a bit of a boot camp. I'm like, those guys got the attention. They just need a bit of structure.
Yeah.
And they're my favorite team. Like Newcastle's my favorite team. So like, of course I'm going to help those guys out.
Yeah, strike while the iron's hot. Because I have a view that like most athletes, especially in Australia, because I'm not going to say Australia, we get paid like the American sports or the European sports where you can potentially live off it, right? But I have this feeling, and it was my biggest regret, obviously, when I was playing professional sport, was not running a business whilst I was playing. because like you have a fuckload of time, man. Like, and you're making good income. Like, you have so much time as a pro athlete, like downtime. Would you like, if you were speaking to a young NRL player now, what would be your advice for them to set themselves up outside of footy?
Obviously, the ultimate leverage is playing good football. Like, I wouldn't never go away from that, but I would personal brand, like with the vlogs, with the podcasts, with the type of stuff that we're doing right now, because like you build a personal brand and you're not just associated as a football player, you're associated as a human, you're associated as someone that loves, who gives back to the fans as well. And off the back of that, you actually get product deals and brand deals a lot easier. Once you've got attention, you can add a product later. And a lot of people are going to go towards clothes and stuff like that, because like in league, we just copy. Like, we all dress the same, we all talk the same, talk to the same girls.
Yeah.
We've got the same plays. So like it's kind of like a copy and paste style industry. So a lot of people will see YKTR and like, oh, I could do that too, which they probably can. I feel like the next play isn't the clothes play. It isn't. I think alcohol is a good one. It's pretty interesting because it's got a lot of upside to it as well. But there's going to be something else after that, whether it's NFTs or cryptocurrency, or they build the platform that hosts all that sort of stuff. Like, that's got to be the next play, because you're sort of diving into this white space over here. It's not like, oh shit, like another footy player with the clothing brand. Because when we done it, like no one was really doing it. Not the level we were doing. Like, we were laughed at for starting clothes, vlogs, podcasts, all this sort of stuff. But it's just kind of the way in, and probably the bare minimum of what you have to do now to get attention.
Yeah. Now it's the trend in some regards. The more players document, like the more exciting it is for fans, and the more reach now. I think it's normal. It's normalized. Probably when we were playing, I don't think it was normal to really document. It was criticized.
Yeah. I've got an idea. I've got an idea that, like, I don't think anyone will think of it, and it's not super original, but I think it'll really work with like the All Blacks boys and stuff like that. So yeah, I might launch that pretty soon.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, just a couple more to shoot at you, man, because your emphasis on self-education's really interesting. You mentioned like cryptocurrency before, which I'm into as well, but like I assume you self-educate on that. But particularly, like, is there anyone, I know we've mentioned Gary Vee a few times, but is there anyone like consistently that you watch or try and learn from that really help you broaden your horizons from a knowledge perspective?
In crypto?
Nah, just in general, yeah, bro.
I'm very Gary Vee. I've read a lot of books. Like I'm sitting on about 140, 150 books in my lifetime. So there's a quite knowledge there. But I'm just at the point now, bro. It's just like, fuck. Like I've got the skill sets. I just need to go in and learn. You know what I mean? I just need time on the football field, and this is what I see this as. Like, last year and a half, like I still listen to audiobooks and a little bit of reading, podcasts here and there, but your best lessons come from actually being on the field. Like Cameron Smith learnt his lessons from being on the field and being in high pressure situations and winning comps and stuff like that. So your best education always comes through that, because books and that is going to give you motivation for a little bit, and you can learn from other people's lessons, but there's lessons you have to go through to understand them. Like heartbreak's one of them. Getting cheated on is another one. You can read about that shit, bro, but when you actually go for it and you feel that knife in your heart or that feeling in your stomach, then you can't read about that stuff. I'm in that spot now where I just need time on the field. I need to learn my lessons and learn about my failures on my own, and hopefully it doesn't sink me. And
yeah, bro. Well, it's kind of like travel. It's like you can read about the destinations, but until you're there, it's a real thing, you know. I'm interested to know, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given, either across sport or business?
I don't know, because I kind of just like...
Because you give great advice. That's why I ask you. Like, you give great advice. Like, you probably realize it, but like when you speak a sentence or you have a comment, there's like a dime in there that like I take away. I'm like, oh shit, you know. So I assume you get that backwards.
This is my thing. It's like I measure success, and like people see success in so many different ways and happiness in so many different ways. I just see success as like that first 5 seconds in the morning, and bro, that's how I measure my whole life. Everything I do is tailored towards that. And like I get like I'm getting money coming in at the moment, getting bonuses and stuff like that. I've got multiple streams of revenue, but like none of that really makes me that much happier. I never talk bad about money, and money is a wonderful thing, and you can grow, and I'm into all that sort of shit. But like it doesn't make me feel any better.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll start putting myself in situations that make me feel better, and giving back makes me feel better. And man, I used to read about this stuff in books and stuff all the time, and I was like, nah, that's not it. Like when you start giving stuff away, or start giving away or start providing opportunities for people, and they like look in your eye and they say thank you, and man, that makes me feel good. I just want to be in a position where I can make those happen daily.
Yeah, man. Just to touch on that, because I feel like a perfect example of that is when you brought Simi on full time, and like that process, like that must be probably more fulfilling than some of the success you actually have from a revenue point of view. Like seeing that, like yeah, that was dope, bro. Like how you did that, the way you caught that image with these girls, sort of telling him like he's hired now.
Yeah, that's cool. And like they used to do that stuff in sports, like when a debut would come.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And that's probably a lesson I learned from sport. Like, you just want people to know that you care. And even though you might ride him, especially Simi, like I ride him, probably he deserves to get ridden.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just trying to help you. And I think with stuff like that, he sort of understands that, like, I care about him. I'm in his corner. I trust him, and I try to do that with everyone.
Just a few quick tips before we round out, bro. Who's your tip for Origin and also to take out the NRL this year, if you could go for one?
Origin's already done. Obviously, the boys have got through. But, man, I just see that Penrith-Melbourne final.
Yeah. Do you think that's going to be a revisit? I mean, that's the logical choice, but like Penrith this year have gone up a gear, haven't they?
Yeah. I think it's the rematch. And to be honest, I think Melbourne can actually get him as well. They just got like, they're probably the one team that match up with them evenly. And I know they've been in form, and Nathan Cleary's sort of the guy right now. But man, when you get on that big stage and you've got the history of losing one, like you don't want to lose two in a row, because then you start to get known as chokers. Does that sit in their mind? Melbourne are just proven, man, and I think that's going to be our next little battle for the next couple of years. The sort of the Golden State versus Cavs. Maybe 3 out of the next 5 grand finals will be based around those two teams, in my opinion.
Amazing, bro. I can't thank you enough for giving us your time, man. Like, been super insightful. As I said, massive fan of the YKTR and YKTR sports journey. Been a pleasure, bro. Would love to reach out one time, catch up for a coffee, man, and learn more about you and obviously how I can grow this platform too. So, yeah, awesome, thanks so much for your time. Pleasure, bro.